Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton, and today I am sharing with you a project using the Botanical Framelits dies. You'll probably remember I showed you a variation of that using Lost Lagoon. It was a very simple die cut card. And today I've just stepped it up a little bit really from that card. So this one is a white on white. And I've already pre-cut a lot of the dies for you because obviously I showed you how to die cut those a couple of days ago. I will make sure that there is a link to it in my blog. But if you look back at my videos or do a search for botanical framelits or botanicals card, wedding card, you will find it. And I'm using a stamp set today from the current seasonal catalogue, and it's the Bloomin Love. Particularly I'm using this My Valentine stamp. So very clean, very simple, one ink pad, one colour cardstock, same colour ribbon, so it all works together nicely, I hope anyway. That's what I'm hoping you think. So to start off with, you want to make your card base. I'm so sorry about the croaky voice, I'm still suffering with this cold bug. And I always end up with laryngitis, so I'll probably get even more croaky than this. So trim a piece of thicker Whisper White cardstock to 21 centimetres by 14.8 centimetres and score down the middle of that long side at 10.5 centimetres. So that's a regular A6 card. The layers go in a 1/4 inch increments, so if you're using Imperial you should be able to keep up. Score your card so that that ridge is on the inside of the card. So by the time you put your card insert in there, that ugly crease won't be seen. That's your card base. Your first matte layer is going to be 14.4 by 10.1, and this is the one that we're going to die cut using this edgelit die. And the thing with the edgelets, wherever you decide, however steep a curve, however much depth you want on your card, you need to ensure that these tabs on the end overlap the edges of your cardstock, because that's what ensures they cut right the way across. If you've got them set so they're not like this, so they're not in line, then you're not going to get the whole card cut. You're going to end up with a bit rattling in the wind. So the first thing to do is to die cut this using a big shot. And the layers are the same as with the first tutorial that I did earlier this week, and you just want to decide which way you want the curve to go on your piece of card. So you either have it that way or you have it that way. So I'm going to go this way and just a little bit down from that edge there. And then you pop your second acrylic plate in. I'm using the magnetic platform. If you don't have a magnetic platform, then the multi-purpose platform on tab 2. But I do urge you to invest in a magnetic platform, because Stampin' Up is doing many more dies as Thinlits dies, and they do have a habit of moving during die cutting unless they're secured down, and a magnet is by far and away the easiest way of doing that. Now I'm just running this through my Big Shot both ways, and I've got a couple of shims on here. If you need shims, just a piece of cardstock cut in half, even a single piece of cardstock can be enough. It's just as Big Shots where they get a little bit loose around the middle, and they need a bit of a helping hand, so making the layers a little bit thicker does that. Right, and as you pop that off, there is your edge. Stunning. Love it. Love how simple it is. And all you need to do to get rid of any of these excess pieces is just give it a bit of a gentle tap against the side of your table, and those bits will come out, and the last bits that don't, just pop your fingernail or a piercing tool. Make sure this goes straight back in your die pack. There are 14 dies in this die pack, the smallest of which are really tiny, and it is so easy to lose them and not realise you've lost them, so do make sure that they get put away straight away. So this gets matte down onto your card front, and I've lost my card front. Where's my card blank gone? Oh dear. I've lost my card blank. What on earth have I done with that? Well, oh, it's there, look, underneath the stamp. Oh dear, I don't know. So this goes down straight onto your card blank. It's just a slightly narrower mat than your card blank. Before we put this onto the card blank and then start building the card from there, a couple of things that we need to do. So the first one is to stamp the sentiment. I'm using archival ink here, so basic black archival ink. I am using it on photopolymer, which isn't recommended from Stampin' Up, but providing you clean it first with Stays On ink cleaner and then clean it off using Stampin' Mist, you should be alright, but it's not recommended. But sometimes black is the only option you really have, and I think when you're doing something like this, you've got to go black and white. It's so classic wedding stuff, isn't it? Right, and just get that down in that bottom right corner. And I'm not pressing hard on this, I'm just giving the ink a chance to get in and set. And that is the stamping for today. Put your ink pad away. And, oh, its ink pad slot has gone. Dearie me. If you can hear something, it is my colour caddy, which stores all of my ink cartridges, and it makes sure that they're stored upside down so the ink is always in contact with the surface of the ink pad, and it's like a rotary thing, and it's absolutely superb, and it was well worth the investment. I think when I first joined I put in a big order and got my colour caddy free, so that was even better. Right, before we put this onto the card base, we need to pop the ribbon around. So I'm using organza Whisper White ribbon, which is from Stampin' Up again, and very, very classic wedding material, I think. So pretty. Right, when I do my bows, I tie my knot so it's facing me, and then I rotate the cardstock round by 180 degrees. Bear with me, it does work. And then you do the bunny ears. but the requirement is that the tails go away from you. You want to end up with 2 loops where both tails are going away from you and both loops are roughly the same size. And then you just tie a knot, pull the tails, and then you can put your card around the right way. If you tie your bows that way, your tails of your bows will always be facing the right direction. Now you can play by shortening your tails or lengthening the tails, shortening the bow, and then you pull, and then you can shorten further if you want to, and it's still on the reel at this point, and then pull. When you're happy, give that knot a final nice pull, and at that point cut the ribbon to the length you want it. It really does save on resources. You don't have as much wastage. Now I'm just going to move this round because I want my bow to be just above that Valentine sentiment, and I just want to make a slightly neater end to my tail. Don't know where that bit of ribbon went. Right, so that's that bit. We can now adhere this to the card blank, and I'm going to use fast fuse because it's quick, but you could use Tombow or tear and tape, whatever is your choice. There's my fast fuse. So a piece along the bottom here. Don't worry about adhesive on this top bit where we've die cut, because you want to create shadow in those areas, and it will give a much more natural and shadows as well effect on the card base. So pop, make sure your opening's in the right direction before you stick it down, and pop that down. Right, so that's the basic card made. Now for making flowers. Now I've already die cut all the flowers just to save you some very boring time watching me die cut lots of things. So I'm going to bring in a piece of coloured card just so it will highlight what we've got. So these are the images that the die cuts you get in the pack. So it's supposed to be a leaf, but I think that would double up really well as a feather, and that's how I've used it previously. You've got a fern, and you've got septums of different sizes here. Got some more of those. And what else have we got? This one would double up nicely as a butterfly, I think. It's a flower. And you've got this large one, and these have die cuts within the die cut so that they become three-dimensional on their own. So you've got that large flower. This is a middle-sized flower that I've done there, and you've got 2 sizes of large leaf and a small flower there, and then you've got some more little septum bits. So there is quite a collection of dies in there, as well as that edge-lit die. So hence why I didn't want to entirely bore you to tears. I thought time would be better spent showing you how I assemble some of the flowers, and this is one of the flowers I've assembled. This one is really simple, so it's the one that's die cut within a die cut, and all I've done is pop one of these into the centre there using a Stampin' dimensional to give lift, and I've also popped up those little stamens just to make them pop up as well. And this is how that was before playing with it. And have I got any other flowers I've made? I think that's the only one. So I'm going to show you how I've assembled some of these, and you can just mix and match them to your heart's content and then add them to your card. This is that one that looks a bit like a butterfly look. Tell me what you think. I think this would double up quite sweetly as a butterfly, don't you? You could even put a tail on it and make it into a dragonfly. There you are. Right, so let's put these into piles of their like, and I keep finding little bits stuck where they've got caught onto things. Another little middle thing there. And we'll make a few flowers and a few assemblies, and then we can add them to the card front. So with the two leaves that I've got here, so you get this large leaf and a smaller leaf here, all I do is I pop a couple of Stampin dimensionals on the back and fix those offset on top of the larger leaf. And let's have a look. I'm working on this coloured piece because it helps to highlight it a little bit better for you. Now I do like to see a bit of a natural curl on flowers, so I use my bone folder and I just go around and just curl up the edges. You do need to be gentle with it though, and that includes like these little bits here. You can give those a bit of a curl, but you do need to be very gentle. You could even use your fingers, to be honest. Right, so we've got this small flower here. We've got this even smaller flower here. So I am going to pop this one in the middle of this one. Get my Stampin' Dimensionals over. Need to open a new pack. Been a busy bee with them this week. So pop one in the middle. And pop the little flower, just offset it a bit. Like that. And then put a dimensional on the back. And what you want to do is you want to have dimensionals on the back of some, just one dimensional in between layers on others, and none on others, so that you have this real variation in height. Now I had some really tiny little bits in here somewhere. I want to pop in the middle. I think that will go in there. So what I do with these tiny pieces, out comes my fine tip glue pen. And just pop a little dab of glue in the centre there. And pop that little die cut in the middle. That's one little flower. With this one, lift these bits up, and you could very easily sponge the edges of these. I'm choosing not to because I just really want this white on white effect with this particular card. So with this one, I think I'm going to go with, no, not so much that one. Nope. So you just have to play around. I reckon just one of those. So I'm just going to pop a dimensional on the back here. Make sure it's the right way around. The right way round will have a nice rounded beveled edge. That's that's another flower made. Before I stick that down, I'll make sure that these are lifted up. You've got, let's say, this little butterfly looking one, and I reckon a little bit of glue in there. Yeah, to pop this one in. And that one, let those ones be lifted up. There we go. And I've got this one that I've already made, look, which is really pretty. This one that I've already made that's teensy. So we've now got several flowers. Right, let's finish this one off. Right, okay, I reckon dimensional on the back of that one. And then we can start looking at popping these onto the card front itself. And this is the bit I really love, sorry, just moving myself in. I'm slowly sliding further and further back. So just start deciding where you want your flowers to be. And there's no real rhyme or reason over this, it's just got to be what's pretty for you, what you like. And that's it really. Right, I want to get these lovely ferns in. I'm going to take that one out and have one there, and I think I'm going to go with these popped in up there. Yep, I like that. Okay, so now to stick down. I'm going to pop this one up on a dimensional. Have that right up the top there. And this one in here. Another dimensional. Pop that one in there. And this one I'm going to slot in underneath. I'm going to slot that one in underneath. Just have it overlapping the ribbon here. That one in there. Again, slot in and under. And then finally these bits here. So these you're really only going to be able to put on by using a fine tip glue pen, and you just want to put the glue on just a couple of the lower branches so that the upper ones are able to stick down. Same with the second one. This fine tip glue pen really is very, very fine, but obviously because it's fine they will clog up quickly, so you do need to make sure that you replace the cap quickly. So I've done all of my sticking now, so to put this back on, pop your finger behind the female piece here, so the female piece being the hole in the shaft, and then with this one I use my finger as the guide. Do be gentle, and then just sort of wiggle it gently back on, and then the pin in the male connector will stop that from clogging up, and you really get an awful lot of glue in there, and because it's so fine, a little goes an awful long way. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is today's card. So you can play around with all of these bits, making them stand up and pop up, and fiddle around with them to your heart's content. But I hope you like that. I love white on white for christenings or for wedding cards or that sort of thing. So I don't think we use white cards often enough, white on white often enough, to be honest. So I hope you like that, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow with another project. So long as I've got a voice. If I haven't, then I may go AWOL for a little while, but I will be back, I promise. I'm not stopping my videos. It's just laryngitis tends to be a problem for me, and then if you can't talk, there's no point talking really. If you want to find my social media sites, they're all listed in the Show More section under today's video. There will be a direct link from the video to my blog, and all the full tutorial will be on the blog. And feel free to leave comments either on my blog or Google Plus account or Facebook or anything like that. Equally, if you would like to start sharing your own makes on my Pinterest community board, Stamping at the Warren, then so long as you start following the board, just do a search for Kim Tolton, and there is a link in the Show More section. Once you start following the board, so long as I can see you have an interest in card and paper craft, I will send you an invitation to start pinning on the board, and then we can all share together. So thank you very much for watching today. I do appreciate you taking the time out to watch videos, and I'll be back with another tutorial tomorrow. Thank you very much. Ta-ta for now.